An O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card is the perfect gift for that hard-to-buy-for person. Give the gift of convenience from O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Well, Mark, if we ever get back to writing articles, you ought to write that one down. The top 5 9-hole golf courses.
That's actually a good idea. I'll never play that Colstrip course again.
Well, why? You just don't want to go to Colstrip? Or,
No,
you should write an article on how you hate Colstrip. I'm thinking it would be very successful, Mark. Take it from me.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.
525, Mark and Paul checking in. Our computer issues company-wide. Quite frankly, this one has been the best one where we got hacked, and I'm having to do a lot more clicking out of stuff because everything that played last Tuesday is scheduled to play again today, on top of more stuff being added that would have normally been played. And I talked to our guy yesterday and told him I had figured that out, and he texted me back and said, well, it'll be the same tomorrow. I said, good information. 39 degrees downtown. Nice stretch of weather ahead here, folks. Telling Paul I ran out to Mary's Health Foods yesterday to get some probiotic, and one of the gals out there said, geez, I just wish it wasn't so cold. I said, sweetheart, for December in Montana, this is awesome weather. This is as good as it gets right here. And also, Mary's gave up some of their space, so it's a little bit smaller now.
What?
Used to be able to come in on the east side and the west side, and now just the east side. So they remodeled a little bit.
Well, they had a deli there at one time. Remember, they were making sandwiches
and I think they still
like that.
They still might be. When you walk in there, it smells good. It's just never a place you think about for lunch or something. And for me, for my what seems to be about twice a year trip to the West End, they're going to build another Smitty's car wash out there in front of Menholt, which is right next to the little Asian restaurant that went up recently that I didn't see them building because it's been that long between trips out there.
I got to go to an auto dealership today and have a little discussion with the service manager out there. So, woman is having trouble with her vehicle, and they did not, her all-wheel drive wasn't working, so they replaced some fuel injectors.
I don't know a lot about cars.
Exactly, Wilson.
But I think that's not what was wrong.
Nope. So we're going to have a little discussion about that today. I happen to know quite a bit about fuel injection in cars and tractors and engines and things like that. And so we're going to have a little discussion about that today.
I got to tell you, Farmer, I was a little upset with you last night.
What did I do?
It's what you didn't do. I didn't get my nap till later in the day, and the TV was off, and I woke up on my couch at 5:51, and I thought, why in the hell didn't he call me? Because I thought it was morning.
5:51 in the morning?
I'm like, you would think he would pick up the phone and say, hey, Wilson, what's going on? Turn on the TV. Oh, Monday Night Football, so it's 5:51.
Boy, you were really out.
I was.
You were really out of it. Well, I woke up this morning and I felt 100% better than I did yesterday. So
good.
I'm on the mend, which is good.
Well, and you don't get sick much, so.
No, well, I got it from someone.
Yeah,
someone.
Well, I know who you got it from because they all got cooties.
Yeah, that's true. They got cooties. Well, I didn't get it from that. I can tell you that right now.
It wasn't sexually transmitted.
No. But I went to town and paid my taxes that day, and so made a couple stops. Probably picked up something there.
You know, I thought about something. I paid mine yesterday because I forgot. And there's about 10 free spots there on the street, and you got to get lucky to get one of those. And you poor people waiting in line for your license plates. There's never a smile in that group. But I thought, so I came down to pay my property taxes, and in order to do that and not have to walk very far, I got to plug a meter, which is paying another tax.
Yeah. Road tax.
Yeah.
Did you have to pay a penalty?
No, because the first fell on a Saturday. Or on a Sunday.
Oh, well, I didn't know that. See, I made an extra trip because I thought we'd have to pay a penalty. And I could avoid maybe getting sick. Oh, well.
I did that a couple of years ago, and the gal that was taking my money, I came in the Monday after it was due, and I had to pay a little penalty. And she goes, if you'd have come in last Friday, this would have saved you X amount of dollars. I said, yeah, but I came in today, and there was no line, and that was worth it to me.
That's a plus. That's a plus.
I see that the Shiloh 14 movie theater temporarily closed. Post on Facebook. Does anybody know why? Two things. Probably the health inspector, from what I heard, and they don't have enough employees.
Well, and the movies suck, so
Well, movies are not targeted at us.
No, not anymore. They're not. So.
Oh, Mary's Health Food quit making the soup.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, thanks, Mark.
You're not a big soup guy, are you?
No. No, in fact...
I had soup last night.
I like the lobster bisque on the Jake's on the West End on Wednesdays, but that's become Wilson Wednesday out at the Blue Cat, so I'm never out on the West End.
Oh, my gosh.
And for soup at home, I got a couple cans of chicken noodle in case I get sick. That seems magic to me. And I like the minestrone, but I rarely get soup when I go out. An occasional French onion soup out somewhere. Outback has good French onion.
He did like Campbell's alphabet soup because he used to see if he could spell Merle in his phone when he'd get down and get the letters.
That's not actually that far off.
Gee, Christmas. I don't even know if Campbell's makes the alphabet soup anymore. You know, they changed their name because now instead of Campbell's Soup Company, now they're just Campbell's.
Right.
Then they went into Chunky.
The soup that eats like a meal.
Yeah, I'm going to be 51 today.
Campbell's Condensed Kid Soup Tomato A to Z.
What's that?
Alphabet soup and tomato sauce.
A tomato soup with the
letters in it.
God only knows what's in those things.
Yeah.
Those little pasta noodles. Hey,
I wasn't a big fan of SpaghettiOs growing up. So.
I know. Same thing probably. It's probably the same mold, same.
But even that is, that used to be the great thing about soup. I moved here in 88 when the station started, and I'd go to the grocery store, and I'd buy cans of soup because they were like 29 cents. And I'd have my whole shopping list because at that particular time I had to. And it's not like I ever went out for a meal. So a couple of the nights were soup because it was 29 cents.
Oh, yeah.
You spring on a thing of saltine crackers because those goes with all that kind of stuff.
Well, and you like me, we didn't have a microwave. You have to put it in a pan.
Oh, good point. Yeah. My first place was a basement of a house. I paid the electricity. The people upstairs paid for the heat, and they had the thermostat. So when they got cold, they turned the thermostat on. So it was like 82 degrees in my apartment in the basement.
Oh, God.
But that's what I could afford.
That's right.
Campbell's Condensed Kid Soup, $2.29 a can.
I got a thank you card from Ruby. She got a meal from Flakesgiving, so it was nice that she would do that.
Good.
A few others I was expecting that would come in, but I'll check the email. I got the email working yesterday. So
you know why? Because you're its daddy.
You know what? Did you hear it yelling my name out yesterday when we left?
Well, I hated to come in here because it sounded like something was going on.
Well, guess what? You are right. Who is your daddy?
Folks,
got it right.
Paul can shut down and turn it back on as good as anybody, I swear.
That's right.
Well, I sure wish our haters were still commenting on our posts and stuff, but they've been gone for a while. Hobie and Ryan Clark and
Oh, yeah.
The traveling nurse that said we were killing people with the information we were giving out for COVID.
Right.
A congressional subcommittee concluded its 2-year investigation on the coronavirus pandemic yesterday, likely originated from a lab in Wuhan, China. Mm-hmm. Social distancing and masking were not backed with scientific data.
Really?
No kidding. You know, by putting arrows down on the floors of grocery stores so you know which way to go, these are all now one-ways, we're going to save lives with that.
Right. And if you were 5.5 feet apart, you could spread it.
Right.
But if you were 6 feet, you were perfectly safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Control, that was a power control. Set the stage for future control over you. That's all it was.
That's right.
The damage done on our youth.
And it said in the article, it set back our kids' education 3 years.
Oh.
And a lot are still suffering.
Yep. Awful. That's why, folks, we give you the damn truth.
Mm-hmm.
People hate it.
Yeah.
They listen to the spin. They listen to the rhetoric.
And what's sad is that was a Fox News story. That's not going to be headline news on any of the other.
Oh, no. But you know what? When we were talking about it, when we got all the hate mail and stuff, we backed it up. Mm-hmm. We backed it up with the facts. The guy that invented the vaccine, the new technology behind it, did a huge special on it. Said who should get it. What it will do, how it will work, who it won't work on. All of that. Mm-hmm. They didn't care.
No.
They didn't care.
People screaming at you in grocery stores if you didn't have your mask on.
80% of the federal workers are still staying home, not going to work. Yeah, Elon's going to take care of that.
That's about to change.
Milking it. Sucking the government tit. 24 hours a day. That's all they do, folks. Milking it for every penny they can get. They're sitting at home in their stretch pants and everything else, sitting there watching The Price is Right. Click on, let them know they're on the Zoom meeting and getting full salary, full benefits, full retirement. Still awful. Donald Trump got so much backlash from calling it the China flu. Remember that?
Yep.
He knew. They knew back then what it was and where it came from, but they covered it up.
They did.
Just like covering up Joe Biden's dementia till they threw him out.
Yeah.
Despicable. And KTV COVID here in town. Oh my God, they carried the torch. Every day they gave you how many COVID cases were in Yellowstone County. Every day. You know, we didn't have one flu case that year.
Not one.
Not one.
Not one.
Not one flu case in Yellowstone County the whole year. It was all COVID that year. Oh, they were just as bad as everyone else. News leader. Please.
It's fun all month at the Blue Cat Bar and Grill and Roadside Events Center. This Saturday, it's Glow Bingo with DJ Dave Austin, lights, music, and big prizes. Sunday, November 24th, more bingo action along with a cozy bread bowl with homemade soup. On Monday, the 25th, it's country music trivia. And on Friday, the 29th, grab a tag off the tree to help spread joy to children in Huntley Project. Plus, don't miss prime rib Saturdays and sushi and sliders Sunday nights. Take the short drive to Huntley, the Blue Cat, just 9 miles east of the Metro Park exit.
Propaganda. That's all it was. People knew. Destroyed our poor youth. We'll never recover from that. It'll be years and years and years. And when the next one comes, they're going to try pulling the same thing, except for there's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, and now that we've been through it, a lot more Americans aren't going to stand for it. You're not shutting my bar down.
And now people are learning and doctors are knowing. And by the way, KTVQ and Color 8, where's your follow-up? Where's your follow-up on all of the medical problems now that the COVID shots have created for people?
Not a peep.
We're seeing all kinds of heart problems, organ failures, things all related to COVID shots. People at the Mayo Clinic and others around the country trying to figure out how to handle these things that have been caused by the COVID vaccine.
And your government will not let you see the results of testing for 75 years.
Yeah, thousands of cases, medical problems they don't know how to fix that were a result of the COVID shot. Where's your follow-up report on that? There's none because you carried the torch for it. What a bunch of phonies. I know someone personally who is struggling right now and had all kinds of heart problems, went down to Denver. They sent her to the Mayo Clinic. They couldn't handle it in Denver, so went to the Mayo Clinic, and it was all result, they said, from the COVID vaccine. Destroyed half the use of her heart, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And they said it was the COVID shot. Where's the story on that? KTV COVID, Color 8, the Gazette, where are they all? Crazy. Joe Biden wouldn't be caught dead. Him and Kamala Harris, they would never get the Trump vaccine. Remember that? Never get it. Then they won and they couldn't get it in their arms fast enough. Maybe that's his problem. He got 6 COVID shots and he didn't get them. Those shots, I saw those vials there. That serum was sugar water. That was just a made-for-TV event. He wasn't getting that vaccine in him, and he got it. He's ended up getting it 3 times.
That's right.
Same with Jill, Dr. Jill. You know, Joe's babysitter at 15. It's babysitting. Joe said, hey, come over here and sit down on my lap. We'll take the first thing that comes up. 15. So anyway, we're going to learn, folks, for years and years and years about that kind of stuff. Years. Pediatricians, well-known pediatricians, all saying, what the hell are you doing with our children? Well, you know, children, they can handle this. They're supposed to be exposed to germs. That's how their immune system builds up. What are you doing? People telling people to get their babies vaccinated? Newborn babies? All fake. Phony. You know what? Hell, I got a cold last week. And now that I think about it, it never even dawned on me. Oh, God, you got to get a COVID test. What happened to that? Remember COVID tests?
Yeah.
You got to get a COVID test. Mark got a cold last week. He didn't get a cold. Everybody's got colds around it. Nobody's getting COVID tests anymore. Why? Why? What the hell happened to that? Get a COVID test. Nobody gets COVID tests anymore. The only people that get a COVID test are people that go to a doctor's office or something probably, and they run a quick one.
And some of the elderly when they get a cold or something.
Yeah. I mean, that would be it. But nobody gets COVID tests anymore. Joe Biden's pardon is frustrating some Democrats. I'm surprised the Gazette even put this in here. Usually they milk it and dilute it, reeling from his November defeats. Democrats grappled with Joe Biden's pardoning of his son. Some said it was misguided. After they spent 9 years slamming Donald Trump as a threat to democracy of no one who is above the law, guess what? Hunter Biden's kid, folks, is above the law now. And we know why. We know why he did it.
Well, and pardoning starting back in 2014, which tells me we don't even know everything he did.
Well, that was the year of Burisma, the Ukrainian thing. Remember, Donald Trump wanted to investigate that. So you know what the Democrats did? John Tester and the rest of them? They tried to impeach Donald Trump over that because he made a phone call to the Ukraine and wanted to find out about the money being transferred into the Bidens. So they tried to impeach the guy investigating it. Well, that was from 14. That's when Joe Biden was vice president.
Right.
And his kid was over there. We played the quote for you when he wanted to switch the prosecutors that were investigating his kid. Or he withheld the money. Well, SOB, guess what? They changed it. That was a quid pro quo. That was what he was investigating. That was 14, folks. That's why it goes all the way back to that. What a crook. That man has been a pig and a sloth ever since he got into politics in Delaware.
And people still freaking voted for him.
When you start sticking your tongue down the throat of your babysitter when she's 15, you're a schmuck. Ask Tara Reid, Colorado's governor, Jared Polis, wrote, Hunter brought all this legal trouble on himself. Look, we can sympathize with his struggles, but no one's above the law. Greg Stanton, Democrat, Arizona. This was not a politically motivated prosecution. Hunter committed felonies and was convicted by a jury of his peers.
This one's black and white. It's simple.
Yes. Lying, all kinds of stuff, tax evasion. Colorado's Senator Michael Bennet said Biden put his personal interest ahead of the duty. Further erodes America's faith in the justice system. Yeah. They've been going after Donald Trump and his family members for 9 years. All of them.
Yeah.
Eric Trump, his son-in-law, all of them raided Mar-a-Lago, folks, for classified documents. Raided it. He was president. Donald Trump was an actual president. He can declassify anything he wants to. Joe Biden stole documents when he was a senator. Had him in his garage. Nothing came from that. No prosecution. No, nothing. Sold some of the classified documents to his book guy. Gave them to his book guy to write a book. Nothing. Erodes faith in government. Did we have faith anyway? People were trying to get back to faith now. That's why they're so nervous about Trump going in. He's going to clean this up. Then you've got Peter Welch. He's a big-time Democrat from Vermont. Said, I understand this pardon because he's a loving father. Donald Trump's a loving father.
Yeah.
He's really proud of his son. I'll bet you are. He made you a ton of money. You have 6 homes. You've got $10 million mansion right there on the ocean front over there in Delaware. You didn't make that much money in 50 years in public office.
No.
Just think of that, folks. 50 years times 160. Put that in your little calculator. $8 million bucks. That's before taxes, but the Bidens don't pay those.
Apparently.
That's just one of his homes. Schmucks. You know who didn't do any cyber shopping yesterday?
I know 2 guys.
Yeah, not me.
Not me neither.
Why? I wouldn't do it. I'm not buying just because you should be buying. It's stupid. Article, Influx of Outsiders and Money Turns Montana Republican. Mark talked about this yesterday. You're dumber than hell. Montana's been a conservative state ever since it was founded. If anything, it's turning it more liberal. Look what just happened in Bozeman and other places.
Yeah.
Stupid article. Dumb. Well, that was a big defeat for the Democrats anyway in the election, and now all this stuff's happening, and they're trying to figure out what to do. Here's an article today, folks. Here's their next step to rig it. Scrapping the Electoral College. Democrats charge that this system favors Republicans, and they would rather the United States elect presidents who get the greatest number of ballots. Well, then, who would that favor?
Exactly.
What the hell? You dumb asses. You know, and they want illegal aliens to vote. Why do you think they've let so many in? Really? They think we're all stupid. You could have L.A., New York, and Chicago, and Philly pick the president every year. Founding fathers were so smart. Everything, you know, folks, a lot of stuff that we have in today's society is all based on an electoral process. For instance, even here in Montana, we have 56 counties. Each county has their own county commissioners. The reason we do that is because we want to make sure each area of our big state has representation for people who live in that area. Otherwise, Missoula, Bozeman, Butte could control everything. You look at Petroleum County, totally different county than over by Hamilton. You can't have the people in Hamilton telling the people in Petroleum County how to live their lives and how to base their decisions on Petroleum County when it's totally different. It's why we do the Electoral College. Or Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota. Just think of that. 15% 20% of the entire landmass in the United States would have no say on how to control their land. The people in Philly, LA, and New York will decide what's best for you in your area. You would have no say. You would have no argument. You have no no iron in the fire. You can't do it. And where does this article come from? The article comes from a journalist, a news editor, who went to college and was taught this, trained in this, told how to collaborate, told how to manipulate, and how to carry on their ideology at that university and their journalism courses and spread the word throughout the land.
It's fun all month at the Blue Cat Bar and Grill and Roadside Events Center. This Saturday, it's Glow Bingo with DJ Dave Austin, lights, music, and big prizes. Sunday, November 24th, more bingo action along with a cozy bread bowl with homemade soup. On Monday, the 25th, it's country music trivia, and on Friday, the 29th, grab a tag off the tree to help spread joy to children in Huntley Project. Plus, don't miss prime rib Saturdays and sushi and sliders Sunday nights. Take the short drive to Huntley, the Blue Cat, just 9 miles east of the Metro Park exit.
That's why you get this crap. That's why you get the crap from KTVQ or Color 8. That's why you get the crap from all of them. That's why their viewerships are down. That's why their subscriptions are down. It's just crap. States have big ag interest would not have representation. States that have big cities will control it. So the Electoral College, 538-member body, elects the president. Framers of the Constitution set it up to give power to states as a compromise to avoid having Congress decide the winner. Runner-up gets nothing, except for Nebraska and Maine, where elector votes are awarded based on the district and statewide results. So, folks, you know, the initiative that you voted on here in November in Montana was ran for one reason and one reason only: to give the Democrats a bigger chance of winning an election in Montana. That's the only reason why that was run. And how did they dice it up and spice it up and sell it to you? Well, we want a more fair. Shouldn't we be able to pick the person that we want? Blah, blah. All that crap. Flowing like hot diarrhea out of their mouth. No. Montana's a conservative state. And what they wanted... They wanted the top vote getters to get on the ballot. And so what they were hoping is that you would buy it and you would, there would be 2 Republicans on the ballot and 1 Democrat. Top 3. And so you have the 2 Republicans beating each other up and conservatives in Montana splitting their vote between the 2 Republicans and the Democrat then coasting the win because they got the majority out of the 3 candidates. That's the only reason why they did it. They wanted to rig it in their favor, period. And you folks were smart enough, you didn't buy it. Now they're going after the Electoral College, and then they'll go after the Supreme Court, try to dilute it. Want to make Washington, D.C. its own state and give them 2 senators. 98% of that district votes Democrat. Why do you think they want that? Representation. They want to take ours away in our state and our big, vast areas. They want to take away our power to elect presidents and give it to the Federal Bureau of Bullcrap. And let them pick 2? No. I was looking to see, too, today, how the Supreme Court ruled on that vaping thing yesterday. They were going to hear a case on vaping, companies targeting young kids with their sweet candy vaping products. But I didn't see how that went. Today, they're going to hear arguments on transgender minors' medical care. Because state of Tennessee, they banned it for kids under 18. 26 states now have adopted laws restricting and banning such care for minors. And they sued. Gender-affirming care is supported by the American Medical Association, LIBS, American Academy of Pediatrics, LIBS, and other medical groups, LIBS. But Fair and Balanced didn't put in here the other groups that don't support it. Why? Because that's what media does. They didn't put all the other groups in here that oppose a 8-year-old making their own medical decision on whether to cut their ding-a-ling off or not, or go through hormone therapy. Who in their right mind, folks, in America, with any common sense at all, would think that your 7, 8, 9-year-old is old enough, mature enough, and well-rounded enough to make a medical decision like that on their body that will affect the rest of their life down the road? They have no experience. They have no life experience. Nothing. Zero. Who would do that? People who've been taught that they should and carry the torch media members, you name it, not one person. Hell, there's people in America. You think America should have the right to tell you what haircut your child should have? People would say, hell no.
No.
But you think that the child should have the right to pick what medical procedure they want? And folks, look no further than the crooked Montana Supreme Court. They ruled on that deal a few months ago that gave minors, his or hers, they were sure to put that in there, ability to make their own medical decisions. They can't even remember to brush their teeth and take a shower. And you want them to be able to make that kind of a medical decision? Even worse yet, you want a teacher to be able to decide what medical procedures your child has, and you don't get a say on it? Or they come take it from your house? This is why the election went the way it did. Young people who identify as a gender that differs from their sex assigned at birth are often referred to clinics where teams of medical specialties provide gender-affirming care. You know how reckless that is? Young people, 7, 8, and then medical teams allow that young person to determine that kind of procedure and hormone therapy and everything else on them? What the hell? Experts agree that allowing children to express their gender in a way that matches their identity is beneficial. Once again, where is the line in here about those who don't agree? Not in here. Won't cover it. Won't cover what psychologists are seeing in children that are dealing with these issues. Nothing like that in the article, folks. See, none of this is fair, balanced, accurate. You get the damn truth. None of this. You get to be 18 and an adult. You make your own decisions. That's the way it works in America. You can do whatever you want.
Most parents won't let their kids get a tattoo. When you turn 18, do whatever you want.
That's right. It's your body. Most of these decisions are being made for kids between 8 and 13. 8 and 13. 8 and 13. That child has been on this planet for 96 months. That's all. And they believe that child is mature enough, old enough, smart enough to make those kind of medical decisions. We've got a Supreme Court justice, folks, that's going to be hearing the case today on this, and she doesn't even know what a woman is. They asked her at her confirmation hearing, Tawny Jackson Brown. Didn't even know what a woman was because she's not a biologist. I don't know what a woman is. Didn't know. And what about letting people from their own families make their own decisions and you just button the hell out? You stay out of there. You're not fighting for me or others. You're fighting for your cause. That's all you're doing. You're not fighting for what's beneficial to the children. You're just fighting for your cause. That's all you're doing. Why don't you butt the hell out? Let that family decide. You don't have a right to decide what that family decides for their kid or their child.
What would you do if your neighbor came over and said, I think your 9-year-old... Well, you can stop right there because I don't care what you think.
Well, I've been fighting for this, and your 9-year-old. And they have no concern about your child. It's about their cause, their agenda. That's all they're pushing. Give a rat's. They're not going to know you or your child or anything that happens to that child down the road from here on out. Not one thing. We got cat boxes in our schools for girls that think they're cats. How do they know which cat box to go in? Are they a male or female cat? This is why the election went the way it went.
It is.
People have finally put their foot and said, hey, this is crazy. This is way out of control. And until they realize that, could be a long haul for them. Never thought we'd get to today, though, where somebody at the school, a counselor, somebody could make a decision on your child. We believe that your child needs gender transformation therapy. We believe that your child needs to have breast enlargement, have his testicles cut off, and start doing this. And by the way, if you don't agree to that, we are sending family services or whoever it may be to your home to take your child and remove them from your family. Who would have ever thought that? But so anyway, they're going to deal with that today in the court. Another issue. That's another thing I'd throw out of my courtroom. Get it out of what? Get this out of my courtroom. I know 7-year-old going to make their own medical decisions. Next. They can't even they're not even allowed to make their own decision on their bedtime. And nobody has a problem with that.
That's right.
Nobody has a problem. The parents can decide when their kids go to bed. And there's nobody that's ever fought that. That's never been in front of the Supreme Court. 8-year-olds should be able to determine what TV shows they watch and what time they go to bed. Nobody's ever fought for that, but they're fighting to cut their ding-a-ling off and have breast enlargement and all kind of, they're fighting for the right for that. Crazy stuff. Oh. Well, we got the emails and stuff running again, so we could check those today. How's your computer over there? Is it still...
The personal one's fine.
No, one?
This one's still got
hiccups?
Yeah. It's the same thing that was wrong with it yesterday. They haven't figured it out yet.
Don't worry about it, Wilson.
Hey, look. I just added about 500 more clicks to my day is all.
There you go.
No big deal. It works. That's all that matters. First news coming up, 6:14.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill. Next to the Roadside Events Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat. It's where it's at.